Oscillating sprinkler system, sprinkler head for lawn irrigation systems. What is an oscillating head? An oscillating head is a head that when one installs it, there are different orifices that can go in, what angle, how far, distances, etc. Usually, there are many sundry of manufacturers of these particular heads, but an oscillating head in general goes. Generally speaking, it can go from 0 to 360 degrees, whatever one sets the head to adjust it. So, question, we have a pop-up head, and we attach it onto the bottom of the head with a funny pipe. Now, the old school way, and my opinion is, it's okay. In this particular case, we have a riser. Okay, but let's pretend this riser was here. In the old school way, before technology changed, before new advancements, etc., some would actually install this here on the hard pipe. And keep in mind, you do what the time allows you to do, what your money allows you to do, what the configuration is. So what you do today may not be the same thing you do tomorrow. For instance, in this day, I'm not sure if they had funny pipe, but forget this riser here. Take this riser. The bottom of the head screws in here. This is a 3/4 inch fitting on the pop-up head. I mean, on the oscillating head, excuse me, not the pop-up head. So down here, let's take this riser and scale it back down and say it came up to about here, and there was a threaded piece that came out here. Some of the old school ways many years ago would attach each head directly onto the T-fitting. On this side would be a 1-inch PVC, hopefully 1 inch. Hopefully they didn't use 3/4, but and then sometimes you can see 1 1/4, etc. But the pipe would go here. The pipe would actually go all the way through here. The red pipe here would be the PVC pipe. This would be the PVC fitting, and let's just say this threaded piece here terminated right here, and the bottom of this head came down here, and the bottom of this head screwed onto here. Okay, I wouldn't suggest doing this. Now, even today, you see people that are not skilled in irrigation systems, and they do this. So is there a time to do this still? Yes, absolutely. But the time to do this may be, say, for instance, when you need a head, an oscillating head, and you're in a natural area, and you're in trees and bushes or something along this lines, you're not in the yard itself, and this would be buried up, but you needed this riser to extend above the ground to allow the head to be able to throw the water out a farther distance so it's not obstructed by trees and shrubs, etc. So there are still times for these to put a riser on here. So it's good to keep 1 or 2 of these around. But my suggestion, my opinion is putting these directly onto the tee in the yard where this would be buried up and the dirt would come up to here. The bottom of the head would come up to here. The head would be screwed down here. My opinion is it's not the apropos way to do this. And case in point, okay. But now here would be the newer method. If I can get a close-up. This is the funny pipe. This is the poly L. So this poly L here is a 1/2 inch, so just forget that. We would have a 3/4 inch poly L on here and the poly L. So this funny pipe would allow us to move this way. It would allow us to cut a piece off, etc. So this would be more of the new school way of doing this. But putting these directly on the hard pipe, I wouldn't suggest this. I haven't seen any in a long time. Now, sometimes if you go to an old sprinkler system and the thing might be 25, 30 years old or 35 years old, and the people say, I want you to add me some new heads. Well, that's fine and dandy. I have done this, and actually what I do is actually I come in here and replace this with this. And the reason is this gives you much more latitude with your sprinkler head than being hard piped on. Now, if I'm in a natural area and I need a riser to get up above something to spray over the trees and the shrubs, I will still use this. You have to make sure the dirt is packed down if you use this in a natural area, so this thing doesn't flop from side to side like this. Because keep in mind, when that water pressure comes up, the water pressure is pretty stout, and it depends from neighborhood to neighborhood. So basically, if it comes up and the head starts doing like this, it can actually radiate all the way under the ground. So make sure that this is, when you put this, if you do it with a riser in the natural area, make sure it has a lot of dirt and the dirt's packed down pretty tightly, because if not, it could flop over and just be leaning sideways if you're not careful. But the newer way is I would do it with the poly-L. I would do it with the T, the poly-L, and the funny pipe. But we'll cover that in another video. So my opinion is it's not good to put the oscillating head directly on the T unless you're in a natural area. In the yard, this would be X. In the natural area, you would have a check mark here. So that's only my personal opinion. I have worked on a lot. I've converted them from one way to the other way. Now, keep in mind, 30, 40 years ago, they may have not have had this. So they did what they had to do. So this was the right thing to do at that time. So, but today there's a much easier and simpler way to do it with the funny pipe. So I would not suggest putting the oscillating head, hard piping it directly. Each pipe, say if you had 5 heads on a zone, all 5 heads on a hard pipe like this, unless you needed one in a riser, which would be in a natural, like the pine needles, mulch, bushes, etc. So anyway, oscillating head for irrigation, how to attach to a PVC tee. Thank you for watching.